You think you can outgrow video games? That's the question on the table. I would say once every 6 weeks, there's a post on NeoGAF. And it's like, hey NeoGAF, I'm getting bored of games. I used to love games. This is a guy named Don Jorginho. TLDR, he says, I'm not enjoying new video game releases as much anymore. Even games I'm eagerly hyped for, and I'm spending less and less time gaming even when I have free time. Am I falling out of love with gaming, or is this just a slow start to the generation? And then he goes into the details, but that's the gist of it. And this is not an isolated complaint. I see it all the time. And I think there's a really important answer to this question. A lot of the answers predictably are like, you get kids, you get bored, try playing some retro games, try taking a break, it'll come back. It's not the point. The point is you should never even have to ask the question, right? Do you get bored of movies? Do you get bored of TV shows? There may be shows you get bored of watching. You may not be in the mood to watch a movie one weekend. But games is, as far as I can tell, one of the only entertainment mediums that consistently has this query. And I think I know what it is. It's nothing to do with taking a break or retro or any of that. It has everything to do with this. This is, you may have seen this, the Unreal Engine 5 Matrix demo dropped a couple months ago. People have put Superman in it, Spider-Man in it, and now, as you can see here, somebody did Batman. Everybody's going on about the Unreal Engine. Oh my fucking, you saw the thing at the subway that they did. It looks so amazing. It looks like real life, blah, blah, blah. Great. Guess what? Watch what Batman does. This is the problem with the industry, and with the art form, more importantly, is it looks great. Look at the cars. When he bumps up against the cars, all the cars have individual shock absorbers on every wheel, so they jostle around. And look at the cape. It looks like real leather. Look at the ray trace. Fuck off. Because what he's doing is the same shit you've been doing since you played Nightmare Creatures on the PS1, which I think was one of the first 3D kind of fighters or whatever. Okay? So the issue is not the medium. The issue is not the games. It's got nothing to do with age. It's got everything to do with your brain going, I've seen this a million times. And even if you can't recognize the similarities upon immediate viewing, it's the same thing. Your brain is going, okay, after the visuals wear off, which they do, then you're just left with the same thing over and over and over. Here's another example. Look at your screen here. Today, EA released this. This is a Dead Space remake. This is what people talk about, the visual upgrades. The money that gets spent, a lot of it goes into visual and animation. This is what we are conditioned to love and care about if all you do is play and consume AAA games. So if you're like, yes, but Jaffe, that's all I like, that's fine. But then be prepared in about 5 years to be the guy posting on NeoGAF that, hey, I'm getting kind of bored of games. What's going on? And it's like, well, because you're not playing anything interesting anymore. It would be like simply going to the same movie with new actors and set dressing, but watching the same fucking movie over and over and over and over in terms of the beats and the story and the surprise twist and all that. Like the first time you hear that Bruce Willis sees dead people and he's a ghost, well, that blows your mind. You hear it 10 times, you're like, all right, why am I getting bored of this? Gee, I don't know, because you've had it over and over. You know what I would like to do? I don't really want to do this, but I wish somebody would do this. I wish somebody would start a company for design only. And they're like, look, we don't care about the tech. We don't even want to ship games. We're gonna be a company that sells prototypes that we think are fun as fuck to other companies to turn into real games, because none of these companies spend the amount of money and resources and time on pushing design forward. Okay, they just don't. They just don't, because it's hard to articulate, it's hard to understand, it's hard to identify who's really good at it versus who's just blowing bullshit. Look, there's no doubt Horizon Zero Dawn looks 1,000 times better, in my opinion, than Elden Ring. But from what I've played so far, Elden Ring is one of the best games ever made. It doesn't matter about the visuals for the art form. But, you know, that's my answer, though. Can you grow up and out of the same shit, whether it's a book or a game or whatever? Yeah, and you see it all the time. You see it all the fucking time. Kevin says there seems to be not only in video games, but this occurs in music, films. There needs to be some significant disruption. No, I don't agree with you. Here's what I'll tell you. There is disruption in those industries all the time. The difference is, in those industries, alt bands or independent film or a movie that releases on Amazon instead of the theaters first, they're not poo-pooed and looked at as lesser. In fact, the aficionados of those mediums look at those and say that's where the real juice is. But in video games, the most vocal folks are the ones that say, oh, indie games, oh, gross, they're janky, they're pixely, I don't want those, I want to show off my big screen, blah, blah, blah. And again, they have a right, they're customers, their money spends as well as anybody else's. But I think what's ultimately happened, though, is, you know, the medium itself has gotten stunted because of its obsession with photoreal graphics, and the fact that the fans have eaten that up. They don't recognize what they're giving up. They just don't, because you can't. How do you pitch why Nightmare of Decay is such a good fucking game? It looks like a PS1 game. I'm trying to do a review for my channel. I can't even articulate what I like about it so much. And I've been in design for 20 years. So it's a hard sell. It's a hard fucking sell.